Let's talk about how to deal with blockers and or impediments in Jira. Are you tired of manual backups when it comes to Jira Cloud? If you've ever tried to back up Jira Cloud, then you know that it's not the most intuitive thing in the world. Well, let me introduce you to Rewind Backups for Jira Cloud. This app is made by my good friends over at Rewind, and it basically automates your backups in Jira Cloud. Now, it takes a few minutes to set up, and after that, you can enjoy manual or automated backups, and your data will never be lost ever again. Use the link in the description below to start a free trial. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. Drop a like if you get value out of this video, and if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know in the comment section down below. Now, if you've been a long-time supporter of the channel, then you've probably seen some of my other videos about a year ago as to how I typically would flag or identify blockers or impediments within the world of Jira. Now, a lot of things happen in the period of a year, and so as a typical Scrum Master that I am, I'm always improving and I'm always trying to get better, and I think I found a better technique, a better way for identifying and flagging down these blockers and impediments that are oh so critical to the Scrum world. Now, I'm just going to, as a recap, tell you about the two other methods that I've used in the past, just so that you're aware of them, maybe as a refresher, maybe they're brand new to you, and they're still really good options. But today's video, I'm really going to focus on this third option that I really think is going to change the game for you and change how you look and identify your impediments within the world of Jira. So the first way that I used to teach folks on how to do this, which was my favorite way up until recently, and that was to make a status in your workflow or a column in your board, which is tied to your status, for blockers. Now, I would simply name the status blocked, and then I would have this basically a column inside of my Kanban board that I would then be able to put my issues if I ever needed to block them or if any impediments ever came up. Now, this I think is still an okay method, but like I mentioned, there's better ways to do it now. And so while I still recommend that you give the status column a go, just keep in mind that there's going to be a better method that's going to require even less headaches for you. Now, the second method that I used to also really endorse, that I've used in the past, and actually I like as well, that is to add a priority value inside of your priority field called blocker. And essentially, whenever you have an issue that is quote unquote blocked, you would then be able to change the priority from like high priority or critical or whatever your priorities are to a blocker, and then be able to do a search on that. Now, obviously with both step 1 and step 2, the downfall to all of this is that you lose the historical context of what the issue was in before you moved it into the status of blocked or into the priority of blocker. So that's usually the only negative con to doing this methodology, is that you lose a little bit of that context. But this third method that we're going to be talking about today alleviates all that, because we don't have to change the priority and we don't have to change the status of the issue in order to mark it as blocked. Now, I will mention that if you've basically an honorable mention, if you will, there's actually like a 2.5 method to be able to do this blocker labeling. And that is, if you've ever tried to link two issues together in Jira, you'll notice that you have a drop down that allows you to basically take one issue and link it to another, and you can do it blocks or block by relationship. Now, this is the tried and true method. This is technically the official way to do it inside of Jira, but it's really bad for one and only one reason. You can't find them. Once you block an issue, there's no way for you to do like a query to go and grab all the issues that are blocked, unless you pay extra for something like Script Runner, which is really expensive, and it costs like 2 arms and 2 legs. So I don't recommend you go that route either. So what you have then is this third and final method, which I really absolutely love now, and I am super excited to share it here with you. As a Jira admin, we've all been there before. Our users go in and hit delete on an issue, and even though Jira tells them, hey, once you delete this, it's gone forever and there is no undoing it, and yet they still click on that red button and that Jira issue is deleted. Only moments later to have a change of heart and then ask you as a Jira admin to, hey, can you restore that issue that I just deleted? So you know that that's really not possible. But let me introduce you to Rewind Backups for Jira Cloud, an app made by my good friends over at Rewind. Now you'll be able to restore deleted issues. So even though your users don't follow the warnings that Jira gives them, rest assured that using Rewind Backups for Jira Cloud, you'll be able to bring back those deleted issues. Use the link in the description down below to start a free trial. Super easy to use. All you gotta do is when you're inside of a Jira project, you simply just need to go and find whatever issue your team is stuck on. Wherever they're blocked, whatever's an impediment, right? If they're just not able to make any progress, if they lost their traction, they lost their way, they lost their North Star, they just don't know how to move forward. As a Scrum Master, you kind of need to help them out and help alleviate those impediments. And so the easiest, best way, again, not altering your statuses, not altering your priority, and not adding a link to an issue that's not going to be visible or queryable inside of Jira, all you got to do is simply right click on any issue that's stuck and then click on this add flag. And when you do that, it's going to prompt you to basically add a comment. So you can say, hey, ran out of crust, relative to the ticket title is pizza crust. So when you do that and I click add, you're doing two things. One, you're adding a comment for historical context, and two, and most importantly, you're adding this yellow color to it. So now when you come and look at your board at a glance, you can really easy see what's flagged, because Jira is going to highlight it for you. It's going to make it this nice little yellow color, and it's going to add this little flag to it, and you're going to very easily be able to visually confirm your impediments. And it doesn't matter if they're in the status of blocked here or if they're in a different status, it's going to stay. Nothing else changed. And when the impediment is gone, you simply just right click on it and remove the flag and then put a comment, ordered more, right? And so once you do that, you're able to then essentially remove the highlight. Now take a look at what happens or what you see when I go into this particular issue. So down here, you'll notice that the flag was added and a comment for it is added. And then when I removed it, it's also tracked, and the comment of why I removed it is also tracked. So this really just helps your team communicate and just overall be able to work collaboratively better, because now they're keeping track and being a little bit more accountable, a little bit more responsible as to why things are being blocked or not blocked. Now, the last thing that I want to show you is that when you do go down this route, when you do block your issues, and I'm just going to add a couple of flags here, no comments, I just want to have a couple of them just to show you what this looks like. And that is essentially, once you have a couple of issues blocked, you might not want to look at them from this visual way, right? You might not always be in your Kanban, and maybe your directors or your executives or your stakeholders, they want to see, hey, give me a list of all my impediments. Well, that becomes really easy. All you got to do is click on this search, come down to this view all issues, and now always get rid of this created date. I don't know why it's always there. Every video I complain about it, but Atlassian, please get rid of this feature. Okay, then you're going to click on more. You're going to type in flagged. It's just a checkbox. We're going to pick our project. We're going to pick the project that we're in. We're also going to select this impediment, click on update. But because I don't want to bring everything, this is bringing every single thing that's blocked. I only care about my BT project, so I'm going to do that as well. And so now I should only see, once I click search, the two issues that I blocked a few moments ago. And so now with this one, I can do like a V13 Thanksgiving project blocked or impediments, or I can name it whatever I want. But now I can use this in my dashboard, so I can create, if you're using custom charts for Jira, you can create these cool metrics around it. But now we can track all of our impediments in a more managerial way, so that we can escalate, we can filter by who's assigned to them, what status are they in, and things of that nature. So this is really cool. I think a really interesting way. Again, it keeps the context more preserved, and it allows you and your team to add a little bit more context as you're blocking or unblocking specific issues, versus when you just transition to a status, you might not know why, it might be accidental, somebody might have bat fingered it, right? It's very easy to transition issues. You might have just picked the wrong status. It's really easy to just accidentally pick the wrong priority. But with this flagging, you got to be intentional. You got to right click on it. You got to go down to the flag. And so you can kind of minimize your false positives. And overall, I think it just helps communicate everything better to your team. So in the comment section down below, let me know what you think. Have you ever used this method before? you thinking of using it now that you know about it? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you in the comments section down below. Is your company looking for a compliant backup solution for Jira Cloud? Then look no further than Rewind Backups for Jira Cloud, made by my good friends over at Rewind. Rewind is proudly SOC2 compliant, and data is encrypted in transit and at rest using TLS 1.2 and AES 256. Crush your security and compliance requirements and get started with a free trial of Rewind Backups for Jira Cloud. Use the link in the description down below. And if you made it this far in this video, I do want to remind you this is part of the Summer of Atlassian 2.0 series. So hitting that 10,000 subscribers is super critical, and we can do that only if you take a second here and smash the subscribe button down below. Also, please do make sure you check out the description down below so that you can find all the different ways that you can support the channel. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need